All right, so you're going to be traveling, so we're recording a day early, so we need to tell them that.
Well, we don't need to tell them that. We could just record, a little like space filler about Game 3, and nobody really listens to us when we talk about the games anyway. So, we'll just do some like generic stuff, and then you can edit it in after Sunday.
Right, right. And then while we're talking, like if there's like some sort of, we can just say both sides of it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
they won and they swept the series, or they won the series, but it was 2-1.
something
And I'll
like
just
that.
edit.
Something like
I'll
that.
just edit the lines, and that's how we'll do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
because
Okay.
I think that's the easiest way rather than explain it away like that. We just
Right.
okay.
Right.
All right. So,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ready?
yep, I'm ready.
Okay. So what about Sunday's game, Matthew? What did you think?
Oh, it was great, Ben.
Yeah.
With all the things that they did, it was they finally did some good stuff.
Yeah, they played the baseball.
They did. They played it and they played it well enough to win.
Yeah. Oh, what about your boy, Landon Roo?
Roo! Well, he rooped, so that's all you can ask for.
He rooped all right. Hang on, wait. He rooped all right. That was the roopiest I've seen him. Okay, wait, and then he rooped all right. That was the roopiest I've seen him.
Exactly. Gosh, rooping could go either way. So rooping is he did great. He did great.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what I got to tell you? Yes, he had a day.
Did he?
I got to tell you, Matthew. Johnson had a day.
Good old Nick.
Yeah, that's right, Nick. I got to tell you, man, Dom Smith, since he showed up, what a day.
How about Patrick Bailey hitting in the clutch again?
I mean, that's the only time he gets hits, right? It's late, and there's a runner on second.
Okay, so that's them winning
for everybody.
No, that's the winning.
No,
Let's.
yeah, okay.
I think that's enough.
I don't know why we went Bailey. I think that's a stretch. That's a stretch.
It came to me. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. All right. Now losing. They've lost.
Oh, man, I can't believe. If Ramos doesn't get a hit, they don't win.
Exactly. I mean, just same old, right? I mean, jeez, you would think that the new guys coming up, they gave them a little spark at the beginning, and then it just boom, right back to the normal stuff.
Yeah, it's like they've. Oh my gosh, is Robbie Ray sitting next to Dom and Daniel? I'm sorry, Nick.
Nobody told them that he's supposed to.
Nobody
stay
told
away
them
from
to stay
Robbie
away
Ray.
from Robbie Ray.
Oh no.
Oh.
But we still won 2 out of 3, Ben. So
Yeah,
it's at least we can walk away with that. And we got the Rockies coming up. So I just, we don't need to really get into the details of this game.
No, that's yeah. Anyway, it's just one game.
Just one game.
All right, I think that'll do it. Now, what should we do for the opening?
The Giants are rolling. The vibes are flowing. It's time for Giant Cocktails. Here are your hosts, Ben and Matthew Henry.
Welcome to episode 299. Matthew.
Yes.
Will Clark, the Thriller,
That's right.
hit 299 as a San Francisco Giant. 1 point better than Barry.
2 points better than Jeff
better
Kent.
That's right. Which feels right.
It does feel right. Yep. I feel like
Yeah.
Will, at least in my heart, needed to be above Barry. And I know
Yeah.
there are people that will debate me on this, and I get it. That's just like asking who your favorite kid is. But still, I grew up with Will Clark in my heart, so I'm glad that he's at that. I would have liked to have seen that 300 with next to his name, but at least he's better than Bonds and Kent.
Yeah, I mean, but for the Gen Zers, they're like, oh, the old man versus the older man. Exciting. Is this an election?
Enough with the banter. Let's talk cocktails.
Oh, what? Politics is not good, Bob? We can't banter about politics?
No, that was a good call, Bob. That was a good call.
Yeah, you're probably right, Bob.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Oh, Well, thank you for asking, Bob. The name of my cocktail is the Blue Lagoon, but I think I'm going to have to change that name because it's a little more pink. Yeah, that's what I'm drinking today, Bob. The Pink Lagoon. And I will tell you what's in a Pink Lagoon at the end of the episode.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I'm keeping it simple today. I'm drinking a gin and tonic. Not the usual sweet thing that we normally have, because frankly, I had a lot of sweet stuff earlier today, and I just needed something that was gonna kind of just be refreshing without too much sweetness. So I'm drinking a gin and tonic today, Bob. Tell you all about it at the end of the episode.
Yeah, kids, when you're on your fourth or fifth cocktail of the day, it's good to go clear.
That's right.
Or maybe not have the third or fourth cocktail. Yeah, pish posh. Pish posh. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Anyway, today is Saturday, June 7th, as we record this podcast. Oh, that's right. We were going to try to pretend it's Sunday. Oh, whatever. That's too hard for me, Matthew. Today is Saturday, June 7th, as we record this podcast. Why are we recording on a Saturday? Because Matthew is traveling. I know. But, I figured this time I'd let him. So Matthew's going to be gallivanting around the world, jet setting, and will not be available to record on Sunday. So we're recording one day early, which means we don't know what happened on Sunday. Either the Giants swept the Braves or they lost. And they only won the series and went 2-1 in the series and then went 4 out of their last 5 instead of 5-0. Either way, I think that's still pretty good, Matthew.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So your San Francisco Giants went 3-0 in the last 3 days as we record this podcast, finishing off the 4-game series with the Padres, and then winning the first 2 games of their 3-game set against the Braves, and putting together a nice and tidy little 4-game win streak, which, Matthew, puts them at second place in the National League West, 1 game out of behind the Dodgers and tied with the Padres for second. And I think they're like half a game behind the Phillies, tied with the Padres for the second and third wild card spots. And honestly, I think creating some distance behind them for most of the other teams. The D-bags, even though they swept the Braves, have been scuffling. They've been a bit mid despite that. The Braves are falling way back. Things are not going well for a lot of these mid-tier teams. And so here we are, after playing some of the worst baseball. Well, we didn't play the worst baseball. Honestly, I think, Matthew, during this stretch, we did some of our best work.
Agreed.
We've been hitting it out of the park. The Giants' offense hasn't been hitting it anywhere. And despite all of that, we're 1 game behind the Dodgers. And our first series against those a-holes is impending. Ooh. It's coming up, but not yet. So yeah. I mean, things are looking pretty good. Or are they? Well, I don't know, Matthew. I don't know. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the turnaround by looking at the end of the Padres series and the beginning of the Braves series. And then we're going to do a lightning round to talk about all of the weird different things that are happening with this team. That make them both bad and good. But first, we have some tidbits to discuss. Matthew, as I was watching today's game, getting ready for a ho-hum 1-0 loss review. Or no, sorry, what was the final? It was 2-1, right?
It was by 1 run. Yeah. Two.
I don't know. It was 1-0. It was going to be another 1-0, wasn't it? No, Wilmer hit a home run. It was going to be a 2-1-er. It was going to be a 2-1-er. And I was like, God, listen to the stupid post-game show, 2-1-er, and blah, blah, blah. And
offense continues to struggle, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and I was like, the only mystery, because I didn't see the pregame show, but I knew that Laura Britt's, kids are like having a birthday or something, so she's taking the day off. So the only mystery to me was who's hosting the show. And it was the guy with the glasses whose name I can't remember. But Richie was there. Richie was on the color, was the player guy.
Okay.
And they were interviewing Wilmer as the second interview after the show. And Aurelia was really curious. He wanted to know what Wilmer's favorite episode of Friends was. He tried to blame it on Laura Britt, but I'm pretty sure this was Richie's question. And Wilmer confessed. He told us the secret that I have always wanted to know. Which episode is his favorite? And he picked the one with the football. A Thanksgiving episode, Matthew, where the friends fight over ownership of the Geller Cup.
Which, if I recall, wasn't really a cup.
No, I think it was one of those weird dolls with the fuzzy hair.
Yeah,
and the
troll
round
doll.
bellies.
Troll doll nailed to like a 2x4 or something like that.
Yeah, a troll doll. It was like a model of me except my head, because I don't have that much hair, but I definitely have a body that looks like that.
Folks, and the reason that's important, if you were not of that era, is that in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, these little troll dolls were really popular, and you could find them anywhere, and they had their hair all up, and like our mother used to like stick them in like care packages while I was in college. I'd get these little random like troll dolls. So yeah, everybody was hanging out with those little troll dolls, so it made its way to popular culture with this Friends episode.
Yeah, and I have to say, I like the Thanksgiving episodes, but I think my favorite one is the one where Monica says, the potatoes are ruined, the potatoes are ruined, the potatoes are ruined. But it also might be the one where she's wearing the turkey on her head and she's dancing and shaking her.
Yes, that's pretty classic.
Section, and Chandler confesses his love for her.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. All right, the next tidbit I want to talk about, Matthew, is the Major League Baseball strike zone. There's been a lot of chatter about this out there in the universe, and I think everybody's got this wrong. First of all, everybody's saying that the strike zone is getting smaller. The strike zone's getting smaller. That's what all the headlines on YouTube say.
Yeah.
And of course, that's clickbait, because the strike zone's not getting smaller.
It stayed the same.
It's stayed the same.
Yeah.
What's happening is umpires are calling it like more closer to the rule book.
Why could that be, Ben?
I don't know. It's a mystery. Why are they doing this? Which seems to be the common refrain. Nobody understands why they're doing this. And I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I have a good guess, Matthew.
Is it because they want to please their robot overlords?
Yes! It's because they want to please their robot overlords, because the robot overlords are coming next year, and the robots are not going to call those strikes. Like, the union wants their umpires to not look like idiots. And so that's why they're tightening up the review of the strike zone. The umpires are being judged on how well they call strikes at the bottom of the strike zone, well, all around the strike zone. The leeway that they've been given has been shrunk. The grace area has been shrunk. Reduced. Shranken. Shranked. And it has been shranked. And the reason it has been shranked is because automated balls and strikes are coming. But here's the other thing, Matthew. Did you know that the little box that's on the screen, did you know that that's not right? That's not the actual strike zone.
It's not?
No, it's the average strike zone of all players. But Matthew, the strike zone, is it the same for every player?
Well, no. No,
it's not. And automated balls and strikes knows that. The strike zone is based upon each player's actual strike zone, and that's how the automated balls and strikes will be called. Which means when automated balls and strikes come next year, there's going to be a lot of calls where you think it's going to be called a ball or a strike by ABS because that's what you saw on the screen because of the little box. And then ABS is going to say the opposite. And a lot of people out there are going to think one of two things.
Conspiracy!
Well, yes. Either ABS doesn't work or it's a conspiracy.
Oh,
and
I prefer
Baseball,
the conspiracy.
Yeah. I mean, this is a problem. This is a problem that nobody sees coming, and I am very eager to see how this all plays out because it's going to be a problem.
That will be one of the biggest rule changes in the history of baseball, or not rule changes, I guess changes in the history of baseball. And they better have a full-on publicity blitzkrieg about this, right? Like how they measure at spring training, every potential major leaguer is going to be measured. And they're going to be entered into a database so that the ABAS system can accurately call their strike zone. And, so there's got to be a lot of education on this because, the casual fan especially is going to be like, what? That wasn't a strike. It's a conspiracy.
Well, or the networks need to have access to that data and then dynamically display the right strike zone.
That would be the easier solution.
Yes, but I expect neither of those things are going to happen, Matthew. This is Major League Baseball and corporate America. I don't think either of these things are going to happen. I think we're going to get just exactly what I expect we're going to what sounds like we're going to get. The same strike zones that we have now with ABS thrown in, and fans are just going to lose their minds. Frankly, I'm kind of looking forward to it.
All right. Well, so we've addressed the strike zone issue.
We have addressed
you've
the strike zone issue.
You've scratched that itch finally, Ben. You feeling good about it?
I am feeling good about it, finally. We'll talk about it more in the offseason. Which I know many of you won't want to talk about that sort of stuff. You'll just want us to revel in the Giants' World Series victory. And
and which we will.
And the World Series MVP, Bryce Eldridge.
In the meantime, though, Ben, we got to talk about the Padres.
Oh, right. The Padres. The Padres, Matthew.
No. The Padres.
Oh, the Padres. The Praves.
The Praves.
The
Padres.
The Padres. I like Padres. We got to talk about the Padres series. Well, they finished off the series a 3-2 win on Thursday. Dom Smith had 3 hits, including a game-winning double.
And I got to tell half the hits the Giants got that day.
I know.
The new guy.
The new guy. It has continued that way, Matthew.
Do you think the new guys are like going to pull around the guys that have been around a while and go, you should try hitting. This is you should just try. It would make the team better.
Well, you think that might be the thing, but you know what? I'm worried since I just had this realization earlier in the episode. They just haven't spent much time around Robbie Ray, man. That's what I'm worried about. Like he's sucking up everybody's mojo, and they still got all their mojo.
Well, he didn't sit next to them when he was pitching because that would have been counterintuitive, right? So,
well, yeah, but it's just too much. Well, remember, he suck out Verlander's mojo because they spend all their time together, right?
Yeah.
That's why Verlander, right? Of course, the old veterans are going to spend, and then, they don't pitch 4 days, 3 days out of the, well, I guess it's, 3 days, so they spend a lot of time together. That's why Verlander was the most impacted. But Ray's been around everybody. He's sucking the mojo from everyone.
Well, and it worked again because he pitched really well against the Padres.
He did.
Robbie Ray Winday was back, Ben.
Yeah, and he's already used up Verlander. He used up poor Wade Jr. Huff and Cost. They really didn't have much to give to begin with, and so there you go. But now here's Dom Smith. Here's Daniel Johnson. I'm sorry, Nick. I think that's the difference, Matthew. That's the difference.
If only it were that easy, right? It's funny how like the first right off the bat, the new guys contributed, and you want to see that, of course, but it shouldn't be the only ones.
No, well, what was interesting to me is on Saturday, the day that we're recording this podcast, through the first trip through the lineup, there were 2 hits, and it was Daniel Johnson and Dom Smith. I mean, I don't know. It's something. Baseball, it's funny. But yes, I do want to sing the praises of Robbie Ray. I don't think he's actually sucking the mojo out of his fellow Giants.
It just seems that way.
It just seems that way. Yeah, it just seems that way. And no, but another Robbie Ray win day, another absolute shutdown of the opponent. And what I really want to take away, I took away from the Padres series overall, Matthew, was the first time that they played the Padres, that little 2-game set in San Diego. I came away feeling like the Padres were just head and shoulders better than the Giants. The first 2 games of this series, I really felt like that was no longer the case, except that the Giants' offense was so bad. Right? That was really the takeaway from the first 2 games of the Padres series. The Giants' offense is atrocious. But those were very winnable games. And then once the offense turned it around, like, the Padres do not look like a better team now. Which I got to give you credit. That's what you said way back when I was all down in the dumps. You were like, they'll get better.
That's right.
But unfortunately, they had to get worse. But right now, like, the Padres are a scuffling team. And I think, as long as the Giants can just be a bad offense, right? Just not be the world's worst offense. Just be bad. And your pitching is the best. And so you will win more often than not. Which is what we've continued to see against another team that is scuffling, the Braves. And I got to tell you, Matthew, it is really nice to play a team that is playing bad baseball. I mean...
Well, it feels like, for a while there, we weren't getting any of those teams, so I'll take it. It's nice to play against teams that are scuffling, for sure.
Yeah, and I really do feel like this is just one of those situations where the Giants are playing a team that's just going through one of those stretches. A stretch that the Giants were just going through.
Right. Well, but although one could argue, I mean, the Braves had one of the worst losses in recent memory, though, on Thursday.
Yes, they did.
Before they came to play the Giants. They gave up, 7 runs in the 9th or something like that to lose?
Yes, they gave up 7 runs in the 9th to the D-bags, who have also not been playing great baseball. They swept the Braves, but other than that...
Yeah, they're 3-8 or things like that, or something like that, or 3-7 in their last 10 games, and the only ones that they won were those sweep.
Yeah, I mean, the D-bags have been fading, but they still found a way to sweep the Braves, and including that excruciating loss. And now the Braves have had 2 more excruciating losses after that, and it's like, oh, that's too bad. But anyway, that all, including today, right? Which was, I mean, it was a bolt of lightning out of nowhere, but I think at the same time, it was also kind of what we should expect from this Giants team when they're winning, right?
Yes.
I think the biggest surprise about what happened today, if you're talking about preseason, was the impact of Wilmer Flores, right? He had the home run earlier in the game. But everything else was just kind of like how you would expect to write it up for this team, right? Elliot Ramos gets a single in the 9th. He's the only guy that's consistently hitting, that you expect him to do good things when he's at the plate. It's baseball, so more often than not, he doesn't. But he's doing it at a much higher rate than everybody else. And then Matt Chapman comes up, and Matt Chapman doesn't hit for great average relative to everybody else. But occasionally he runs into one. And that curveball, that very great curveball from Pierce Johnson, who I definitely remember his days as a Giant. I don't remember his days as a Giant, Matthew.
They were brief, Ben. It was brief.
Okay. He left it, he just left it hanging in the middle of the zone. And Matty did not miss it. Or as my daughter likes to call him, Guy Chap Man. He didn't miss it. And so it was a weird experience for me, because I was kind of like, oh, that's not surprising. Wilmer hit a home run. Elliot Ramos gets on. And Chapman hits a walk-off home run. And the Giants' pitching is amazing from top to bottom. Not surprising. But at the same time, completely and totally shocking.
Yeah, it's one of those... this has been one of those seasons where we can sit here and say, oh, the pitching is great and the offense needs to do just enough to support this pitching staff. And when they do just enough, it still seems kind of weird.
Yeah, well, especially now that we've seen the worst of how this team can go, right? Like, like I think I said a few weeks before this bad run, it was sort of like, when you have, or at least when the bad run was starting, it was like when you have a lineup that is full of slightly above average guys, which may have been an overstatement on my part. But the problem with that is that a lot of times that lineup is going to produce 0 runs, right? Because you don't have anybody who is a superstar or consistently good, Elliot Ramos notwithstanding, right? Everybody else, they just don't hit the ball enough for you to count on them to do something every game or two. Well, statistically speaking, probability speaking, that means that sometimes you're going to have games where nobody does anything. Or Ramos is just left there sitting on second, and that happens. But boy, it happened for 2 weeks straight, and that was really painful.
Well, but don't worry, because Dominic and Nick are here to save the day.
That's right. And Matthew means Daniel.
If you didn't hear last episode, we did a thing. I kept calling him by accident Nick. Although when I re-listened to it, I actually called him Daniel 3 times in a row, Daniel, and then somehow Nick started.
Yeah, just after that, Nick just jumped into your brain, and you couldn't let it go. Yeah.
So now he's just Nick. He's always going to be Nick.
He's
Johnson.
just Nick. It's Nick Johnson. So when we say Nick Johnson, you hear Daniel. Matthew, I say Daniel. You say
Nick.
Daniel.
Nick.
Daniel.
Nick.
That's right. Okay. All right. Good.
It's time for a lightning round.
Bob. Oh.
What?
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
A lightning round?
Oh, lightning round. Oh, right. A lightning round about all the things. Okay, Matthew.
Yeah, we got to talk about this first. Because, Ben, you seem to always not quite grasp the details of a lightning round.
I don't like admitting that I'm not good at things, but...
the lightning round part is the lightning is supposed to be fast.
Right,
okay?
fast. Okay.
Fast.
So what is... Okay, I'm
like,
pretty fast.
Okay, let's another word would be brief.
Oh, brief.
Yes.
But I like to be funny, Matthew.
You could be funny.
Okay.
You just have to be brief.
Oh, okay. So I can be brief and funny, so I can just make a joke. But I also like to be logical.
You just can't explain like all the little intricacies around it. Okay.
Oh, okay. So you're saying I either have to be logical and correct, or I have to be funny?
You could be logical once and funny, and then be done.
Oh, but I like to kind of like wallow in it and explain why it's funny and smart.
Yes, I know. This is why I'm bringing this up before our lightning round. And I would say that we probably killed all this momentum in the lightning round by explaining it.
Oh.
But nonetheless, here we are. But I think we should go. Wait.
I got to go. Another question. Are we both going? Are we both answering the question? So we're both being brief.
Yes, because I think we have enough time to actually do that. Yes.
Right. Well, I wouldn't know how much time we have. Oh, we have that much time.
Yes.
Okay, I understand. Okay. All right. So who's asking the questions? You always, or are we alternating the asking of the questions?
Oh, I think I'll ask them.
You ask all the questions. All right, that's probably a good idea. Yes, because you're better. Okay, yeah.
Okay,
go.
Here we go. Are you ready?
Stop slowing things down. Go.
Okay. What should happen to someone who throws a ball onto the field?
They should be arrested. They should be pushed. No, they shouldn't. No, they should not. They should be punched. No, they shouldn't. I'm sorry, you said one joke. The thing is, Matthew, I really, these people should have their photographs taken, and then they should be expelled from all baseball games for the rest of forever. Because not only is that a disruption for all of the fans, but it's also a disruption for the players. And not only that, the players, you could tell, they were afraid to touch that baseball. Let me explain to you exactly how I know that. There was a point in time where they were all kind of pointing from the ball, but they were kind of taking steps backwards, like it was a grenade that was going to go off.
Okay. Are you done? That was not very lightning-like, but okay. Yes.
Okay.
Good try.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree that they should be kicked out, but I also feel like there should be some kind of punishment, something that all the Giants fans could witness live, up on the jumbo screen. I would like, and we're all yeah, get them. That would be way more interesting to me. Anyway, that's fine. Okay, next question, Ben. Who stays on the roster longer, Nick Johnson or Dominic Smith?
I say Daniel. You say
Nick.
Yeah, because the Eldritch Knight's got to come, and Dom's taking his spot.
Okay. Yeah. So that's your thing. Okay. So
yeah.
I would probably because I could see someone like Matos or someone like that hitting the snot out of the ball down, getting hot, and then all of a sudden Nick isn't playing so well because there was a reason why he was in the Mexican League, and then all of a sudden you're bringing somebody else up. I could see that. Mm-hmm. It's also probably better to get someone on the trade deadline than someone. I don't know. I think I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say Nick is the first one off because you're not seeing the Eldritch Knight. You're not.
Okay, first of all, I disagree with that answer, and I don't like it. Second of all, was that a good example of brief? Is that how I should do it, like you did it just now?
No, do not do what I just did. Thank you. So,
okay.
All right, next question. When Ryan Walker is missing in location, Ben, do you want him missing by 4 feet or just a few inches up in the zone?
I don't. Oh, no. This is like Sophie's Choice. Up in the zone. Oh God, I can't watch.
Oh man.
I can't watch.
Brevity is so hard for you. I am going by 4 feet because a couple of those and they can, or at least a few of those, they can still yank them, and then they bring in Randy Rodriguez to get him out of the mess. So I think that's better than a 2-run home run into the arcade. That's what I'm going.
I feel like I made the wrong choice, but all right.
I think you did too. Ben, does Dominic Smith remind you of a polar bear doing ballet?
Ooh.
Or a rhinoceros doing gymnastics?
Well, it sounds kind of like he looks like both.
Well, the point is he's big and graceful, though.
He is very graceful. He is very graceful. It's not very fast. But boy.
He covers a lot of ground, though. Like
he does. That ball that he caught, that just barely didn't touch the net. Diving.
Leaping up into that definitely looked like a little gymnastics move or a pirouette ballet move.
I also love how he throws the ball to the pitchers, right? He does this banana throw where it just arcs in the air and it just hangs up there forever.
It does. When the first time I saw him do that, I was like, oh, that was and it was landing right in stride where Birdsong just snatched it out of the air. And I was like, wow.
Well, the pitcher can see it and they can just run through it and right to the bag. It's not like one of these trying to lead the guy or whatever. Yeah. He just kind of puts it up into the air and it just hangs there and they just snatch it out and run to first base. They snatch it out while they're running to first base. Sorry,
the one I remember, it was he tossed it right at first base. So it was the pitcher caught it and stepped on the bag all in one motion. It was pretty amazing.
It looks scary, but then at the end, it's amazing. Polar bear doing ballet.
Okay. I'm going to go with rhinoceros doing gymnastics. Should Randy Rodriguez be the closer?
No, you're ridiculous. I hate you.
But nice to have someone like Randy Rodriguez to fill in a spot when needed, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and if
he's an emergency closer, maybe.
Yeah, if we're ranking people, he's definitely ahead of Walker.
Well, the problem with Randy Rodriguez is that he doesn't often pitch back to back, and so he's must have some understanding that it just takes him a day or two to kind of get back into things. Because otherwise I think
Camilo now, Camilo forever.
All right, Ben. We know it's Knizner? No, Kisner. We know it's Kisner.
Yes, it is Kisner.
But is it Gerard or Gerard?
Oh, man. I don't know, Matthew. I hate saying Gerard. And I feel like his mother doesn't say Gerard.
My high school, Miss Sarnecki from my high school Spanish teacher would slap me if I said Gerard. There's no way it's Gerard. Yeah. It's Gerard.
Yeah, your Polish Spanish teacher would definitely.
Was great. Man, she was great. She was a Polish woman from the Midwest, man, but she spoke great Spanish. Don't knock Miss Zarnecki.
I'm not knocking Miss Zarnecki. I think it's Herrar, and here's what I will do. I will go watch an MLB TV version with the audio set to the Spanish radio, and I will hear what they call him, and then that will be the answer for our next episode.
Okay,
I'm
all right.
voting that it is Herrar.
All right, me too. Okay, next question, though. Staying with the Herrar, will he ever get a hit?
No, because you know me. No, he's never going to get a hit.
He was going to be the savior, Ben. He was the guy we were waiting for. He's 0 for 11.
Yeah,
He's 0 for 11.
I just feel like Ben Kaspik's luck is such that, no, Herrera's not going to get a hit.
He's 0 for 11 with a strikeout, though. With only one strikeout. So that's interesting.
That is interesting. That's surprising, actually. That is surprising.
And what was surprising to me, though, was he stole a base. Was it Thursday? Thursday or Friday?
It was
Thursday.
Thursday. It was the last game against the Padres.
And that guy could move. I was pretty impressed with his speed.
Yeah, that was impressive. If only he had more opportunities to do that.
All right, next question. How many grand slams does Bryce Eldridge have to hit to get called up?
Well, it should be one, Buster. It should be
Not
one.
We know it's not one.
That's my answer. I'm going with one.
I'm going with 3 and someone's got to go down on the major league roster.
Dude, if it's 3, people are showing up at Oracle with torches. Like, if it's not 3, right? If he's hitting 3, like, it's, I don't know, Buster. Like,
well, for those of you who don't know, Eldridge hit a grand slam in his first AAA game with Sacramento. So, it's always fun to dream, isn't it? It's always fun.
Yeah.
All right, final question. Final question of the lightning round, Ben. You've done a great job.
Okay.
This might be the hardest question to answer so far.
Okay.
Are the Giants good now?
Oh, man. Dude, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going with yes, they are. Yes, they are good.
Oh, God.
They won 4 in a row and maybe even 5 in a row as you're listening to this podcast. And they're a good team. They're a good team. They're not always going to be great. They're not always going to play well. But overall, they're a good team. Giants are good, Ben.
Okay.
All right. You're the host, though. You got to move us on.
Oh, right.
Stop crying.
Well, on that note, okay. Well, here's something I do know, Matthew.
Okay. Tell me.
The Rockies suck.
At least we're not the Rockies.
Right, Bob? But you know what, Bob? The Rockies just did something that the Giants couldn't.
Oh, they swept the Marlins, didn't they?
They swept the Marlins in the series immediately following the series against the Giants. And it was the Marlins were at home. So it was the exact same setting. The Giants went in and played the Marlins for 3 games. Then the Rockies went in and played them for 3 games. The Rockies won all 3 games and scored twice as many runs as the Giants scored.
Well, that's a given.
Well, I'm just saying, like, but despite all of that, you know what? They're going to Colorado, and everybody's like, oh, Colorado is a question mark, blah, 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 blah. The Giants own Rocky Stadium or whatever the hell. Coors Field. The Giants own Coors Field. They own it.
And despite them sweeping the Marlins, they're still on pace for 131 losses.
Well, they're 3-7 for their last 10, Matthew. So, I mean, it is mind-blowing how bad that team is. But Thairo Estrada is back, and he's probably their best player. By a lot.
By a lot.
No, they've got one guy who's hitting well. They have no good pitchers. Well, Freeland. Okay, they have one good pitcher, they have one good hitter, plus Thairo. So the Giants should destroy them. But yeah, and the Giants are hot. I'm predicting a sweep.
All right. You heard it here, folks, Ben. Ben's getting optimistic.
That's right. This is dangerous. Oh no. What have I done? What have I done?
I'm going to ask you on Wednesday.
Oh, no.
Folks, if they don't sweep, we'll blame Ben.
It's my fault. I said it, and then it didn't happen.
Isn't it time for the booze, boys?
Yeah, it is time for the booze, boys. Or whatever your name is. Bob, that's what your name is. Yeah, it's time. Well, apparently, maybe it's time to stop drinking the booze. Anyway, what do I do now?
What are you drinking, Ben?
Oh, right. That's what I do. Bob, I'm drinking a cocktail that I am calling the Pink Lagoon. And that's because I used it off of a cocktail recipe that was given to me by ChatGPT, and I did not verify. And so this could be a hallucination, mine and its, that the Blue Lagoon is roughly this recipe, but I have modified it to make it pink. So what is in Ben's Pink Lagoon? Well, it has 1.5 ounces of vodka, 0.5 ounce of Curacao, not blue Curacao, just Curacao. And then you put that into a highball with ice and you top it with sparkling strawberry lemonade made by Sunkist because it comes in that 3-pack at Costco. And nobody in your family or any of your family's friends will drink it. So it's up to you to put it into your cocktails. And that's how you make a Pink Lagoon. And it's decent. It's fine. I like it. It's vodka with strawberry sparkling lemonade in it.
That's a great barbecue cocktail where you can just put both out on a table on the picnic bench and let people go to town.
Yeah, but don't put your squirts out there with it, which also comes in that 3-pack, because they're all going to take the squirts, and then you're not going to have any palomas. So don't put the squirts out. That's the secret.
It is. It is the secret.
That's a tasty cocktail.
It's decent, Bob. It's drinkable. Yeah.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, it doesn't get any more simple than what I'm drinking. I'm drinking a gin and tonic. What's in a gin and tonic? It's got 2 ingredients, gin and tonic. 2 ounces of gin, 4 ounces of tonic. Put them into a highball with ice. Pour your gin in first and then slowly pour your tonic water over the ice, allowing it to bubble up. And then you can garnish it with a lime wheel or 2. But in fact, that's what I prefer. So go ahead, garnish it with a lime wheel. And that's what you're drinking. A nice, refreshing gin and tonic.
Man, this is our first time with the G&T on the show. We had a bitter G&T.
I was actually going to say that, but I wasn't 100% sure that I was right on that, so I didn't want to say it. But.
Wow. Okay. Man, there's so much to say about this cocktail. But I'll just say, nice choice, Matthew. Classy. And you know what? It's not as simple as you think, folks, because there's so many gins and there's so many tonics.
Well, and I will say it's not sparkling water, it's tonic water, and they are 2 very different things.
Oh, Matthew, our sophisticated listeners, they know about the quinine.
They do. They do know about it, and that's what makes this drink the drink.
They listen to our defunct podcast, The Perfect Sip.
Go back and listen to some of those episodes, guys.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy, Matthew? Is that I made half of the next season. They're just done. They're done. They're completed. They're in the can. I didn't publish them. Maybe I should get back to that. Anyway.
That's a tasty cocktail.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Thanks. Appreciate it. And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Thursday with more Giants content. If you can't wait that long to get your fix, feel free to reach out to us on the social medias. By this time, you know where to find us. You know, at Giant Cocktails, at all the places. Don't forget, you can also listen to us on YouTube. So run over there, like, subscribe, and comment. But most importantly, leave us a 5-star positive review at your podcasting platform of choice, aka Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really does help the show. Ben, it was great talking Giants with you. Until next time, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, Matthew. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Giant Cocktails Podcast. Until next time, bottoms up.
I was seriously confused about like why you were saying that part, because I felt like that was my turn to say that part.
The non-host always closes us out.
Yeah. I mean now, because that's the way you made the notes. You took that away from me. You took that power away from me.
Well, you get it every other week. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I don't edit that episode, so it's just I don't.
Oh,
I can't leave it in. I can't have the long delay because you just edit out the delay. This is fun little toy that I used to have, and now you just took it away from me.
We could go back to the old way if you want. If you know,
No,
I don't want to deprive you of any joy.
It's fine. It's fine. How did I do in the lightning round? I really.
You got better as time went on. Yeah, you got a little bit better. So good job.
Right,
Good job, Ben.
Well, thank you. That's good. I feel like the Giants' offense just doing just enough to get by. It's kind of my.
Hey, man, that could take you all the way to the promised land.
That's really the story of life, really. Just enough to get by. You know?
Yep. You know, my son used to like stay up until all hours of the night doing all of his homework, and he'd get like 105% on like all of his assignments, and I'd be like, dude, the guy that got a 90 has the same grade as you.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, first of all, you definitely did 15% too much work. You know, but I would argue that you did 35% too much work.
Those are my other children.
You know, like nobody if you got a college degree, nobody ever asks you what your GPA was.
No.
Right?
No, they don't.
Nobody ever asks you, did you graduate Sigma Alpha Beta or cum laude or whatever it is? I don't know.
No.
Nobody ever asks you that
either.
People only tell you that. And
Exactly.
the people that tell you that, don't hire them. It's like, great, that's great. And you just throw the resume away. Well, if they gave you the resume, it already says that on it. And so I definitely S-can those ones.
All right, I think we're done.
Yeah, that's good. And that's how you hire.
Sometimes our after recordings just go directions.
That's fine. That's the whole point of them, Matthew. They don't have to be included. Right? You know, we could say things that are just the worst, and then both of us will be like, I can't put that in the show.
Yeah, well, that has happened.
Yes.